Welcome back to Twin Cities Live at 4. There have been 20 Marvel movies released since Iron Man came out in 2008. Jeez. They all have certain things in common, like big special effects and super-powered heroes and villains.
But there's a new movie out, and it features something new from Marvel, a female superhero. And she's the star, and it seems quite appropriate for International Women's Day.
I think it does, but here's the question. Is Captain Marvel worth the trip? Here to tell us from Paul's trip to the movie, say hi to Paul McGuire Grimes.
Hello.
All right.
Hi.
You know, I don't even know that I've looked up any reviews for this movie. Yours will be the first official review I've heard. What did you think of Captain Marvel?
Well, let me tell you, Brie Larson is a fantastic addition to the Marvel family in this.
Fun.
Good.
She plays a woman named Veers, who is this fighter on this other planet. And when she crash lands on Earth, it awakens all of these memories that she now has of being a fighter pilot here on Earth.
This is interesting because it's set in the 90s,
It's
right?
set in the 90s, and what you realize is that it perfectly sets up the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we know of today and how it leads into the Iron Man and the whole Phase 1 that we've seen so far.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, so it's an origin story to her, but really the Marvel Universe as well.
You know, I've also heard that the soundtrack to this movie is really, it makes it extra interesting. Tell us about it.
So it's TLC, it's Gwen Stefani, Hole, Nirvana, that late 90s throwback vibe, which is so much part of the fun. And it really is a character story. You know, a lot of the Marvel movies are big action set pieces. This is more building her character. How does she fit into all this? So, you know, just know that going in, that the special effects aren't as big as like Black Panther or Avengers, but she's a great character.
Can I ask a question about Avengers?
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, does Captain Marvel lead us into the finale of the Avengers that is coming out this summer?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I will say about it.
Good work, Paul.
Yeah, and this also marks the first time Marvel is using a female director as well, which is very important.
Awesome. Very cool. Ticket stubs.
So 3.5 out of 5. Brie Larson's great. Sam Jackson, she has great chemistry with him as well.
All right.
You could tell just on their, like when they're on the different shows.
It's very
yeah,
funny.
they do a nice job together. It's going to snow this weekend, so a lot of us are just going to stay home. You have two that you recommend we watch, starting with Instant Family.
This movie means a lot to me, and it stars Mark Wahlberg and Oh, you've seen it?
I saw it. It's amazing.
Yes, and they decide to grow their family a little bit later in life using adoption. So they adopt a teenage girl and her 2 siblings.
I got to watch this weekend.
You will love it. Taylor and I were both in tears, and I'm like, I'm adopting every child in the world. We are doing it.
And it's based on the director's story of adopting as well. And I'm going through that process right now, or we are going through that process right now. So knowing, like, it gets that story and the emotions of what it means to adopt right.
Okay.
Very important.
So that is called Instant Family, kind of a sleeper hit. I don't know if a lot of people
fantastic.
expected that to be as good as it ended up being. And also Creed 2.
Let me tell you, I loved this movie so much. I was an emotional wreck by the end of this, and it just proves that these Creed movies are not just movies about boxing, but this really is a father and son story, and it's Adonis Creed, and he's becoming a father in this one, and trying to balance that idea of the career that he wants to have while he's trying to raise a family.
Plus, he looks really good without his shirt.
He is
Michael
in some good
Jordan
shape.
is just so good looking.
You have to give props where props are due.
He is an amazing body
He's
in this.
like even more jacked up in Creed 2 than he was in Creed, and I thought he was doing pretty darn good in Creed.
Yeah, and he brings the emotional weight to this. You believe in what he's going through, and I think that is part of the story.
Yeah.
Also, very quickly, your thoughts on Sylvester Stallone's performance in this, because I think in the Creed series and even in Rocky Balboa, he really turned that character back around.
He does. You appreciate the weight and the gravity that he brings to this character, Rocky Balboa, and where he's at in life, and the relationship that he has with his son as well. Steve, so I know that you are a fan of this franchise, so I think you'll really love this one too. And he doesn't always agree with Adonis. And what is that relationship like as mentor and, you know, boxing trainer?
Good stuff. Paulie, thank you so
very much. Thank you.
You can visit Paul's website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for more movie reviews. You can also listen to him on the Colleen and Bradley Show on My Talk 107.1 every Friday, or on his podcast, also called Paul's Trip to the Movies.